Dictatorship in Europe. Introduction. There was enthusiasm atmosphere everywhere after the First World War. The major nations of United Nations brought different programs to bring peace. There came into existence of dictators in various nations. Among these, Hitler of Germany, Mussolini of Italy, and Kemal Pasha in Japan are notable dictators. Learning objective. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to list the causes for rise of dictatorship. Enumerate dictatorship in Germany, Turkey, Italy, and Japan. Explain the causes and effects of Second World War. Background. During the post-First World War period, representative democratic system was accepted all over the world. Instead of royal reigns, there was enthusiasm everywhere. The major nations of United Nations brought different programs to bring peace. However, there was rise in dictators in various nations. Among these, Hitler of Germany, Mussolini of Italy, and Kemal Pasha in Turkey are notable dictators. Reasons for dictatorship. The international situation became unstable. The financial depression gave rise to common man's dissatisfaction. The growing tension among defeated nations. The democratic governments started collapsing. Dictatorship in Italy. The fascism of Mussolini in Italy. Italy was disappointed by the Allied nations post-World War I. The nation was bankrupt and many soldiers became jobless. There were problems like rise in price and scarcity of food grains. The communist leaders in Italy felt the need of revolution like Russia, since the democratic government was unable to solve problems. In between 1919 and 1922, there had been 6 coalition governments which came into power. In 1922, the fascist part captured the political power under leadership of Benito Mussolini and pulled Italy out of depression. The fascism of Benito Mussolini, the son of blacksmith. Benito Mussolini took part in First World War as a soldier. Afterwards, he established Fascist Party in 1919. He gave assurances to people to gain their support and get them good future. He disapproved the communist theories. He made a bunch of sticks and an axe as symbol to show strength and integrity. It believed in principle, nation is greater than its citizens. He also integrated Italian people in European continent and brought port fume and colonies of Africa back. Some other objectives were improving financial condition of nation, assisting farmers and laborers by ensuring private property, making internal and external policies for the betterment of Italy. Italy under reign of Mussolini, 1922 to 1945. Mussolini integrated all power under his command and banned opposition political parties. The officers and leaders who opposed were put under bars. The press and trade unions were banned. He helped common people to improve their financial condition through welfare programs. Industrial development gained momentum. Education system was used to spread ideology of fascism among youngsters. In 1923, he started to expand Italian empire. He captured Aegean islands from Turkey and port fume. He occupied Ethiopia and made Italy more aggressive. Dictatorship of Hitler in Germany. Nazi Party came into power in Germany for same reasons in Italy. There were many similarities in terms of ideologies and working between the fascist and the Nazi parties. Nazi Party, that is, National Socialist Party, was pioneered by Adolf Hitler. Rise of Nazism in Germany. A republic government was formed in November 1918 in Germany called Weimar Republic. It was the first written constitution of Germany, and it decided to disregard Versailles Treaty. This worsened the situation in Germany. Germans were buried under taxes, with industrial and commercial activities coming to halt. In short, common man's life was in distress. Hitler took advantage of this situation and appealed to German masses. He gave aggressive speeches to gain attention of common people. Nazism of Adolf Hitler in 1889. Hitler was born to middle-class family. As his parents died, he was not given proper education. He enrolled in German military and was honored for his bravery at battlefield. He formed Nazi party of like-minded people. He also published an autobiography named Mein Kampf, My Fight. He was furious with Weimar Republic for signing the humiliating Versailles Treaty. He desired to make Germany the strongest nation. He told people to sacrifice life for nation. It was his faith that the Germans were a Aryan race, and they were born to rule the people belonging to other inferior races. He spread that Germany lost in war due to Jewish people and their disloyalty. The communist people in Germany deserved death, since they were traitors. His theory was one nation, one voice, one leader and one flag. To him, Germany was God-built nation. He was the exquisitely appointed leader of the nation, and it was divine order that Germany should rule the world. Hitler in power. Adolf Hitler made the Nazi party popular by ensuring the property of middle-class people, saving educated and capitalists, job for jobless, and enhancement of nation through patriotism. In 1933 elections, Nazi party won several seats. Within few months, elections were announced and grabbed huge majority. He became Prime Minister and President of Germany. He set up centralized government. Hitler's internal policy. Hitler had dream of converting Germany into Nazi nation. He got rid of opponents by his spies and removed theories of communism, socialism and fascism from education. His order was considered as compulsory. Strikes were considered illegal. The owners of the industries were not allowed to shut down. In 1934, Hitler introduced Fourth Annual Plan, in which modern technology, improved seeds and use of chemical fertilizer increased in agriculture. Hitler Youth was encouraged for agriculture, gained success in producing artificial fiber, rubber and petrol by using chemicals on coal and wood. Agriculture production was increased and industrial research was given bonus. However, lakhs of Jews were killed. Hitler's aim was to create an important place for the external policy of Hitler, Germany in the world. He treated Versailles Treaty as scrap and made military education compulsory. Hence, more arms and ammunition were manufactured. In order to carry on the aggressive military program, Hitler quit the League of Nations in 1934. In 1937, he signed Berlin-Rome-Tokyo Treaty to strengthen anti-communist forces in Europe with Italy and Japan. Dictatorship in Turkey. The democratic dictatorship set up in Turkey by Kemal Pasha in the year 1923 was different from the despotic rules by Mussolini and Hitler. After becoming first president, he declared elections after every 4 years. Kemal Pasha didn't choose suicidal policy, which was endeared by Hitler and Mussolini. He utilized modernization of his country. Kemal Pasha, 1881 to 1938. He was born in family of woodseller in 1881. He did his education in military school and became a soldier. He thought that Turkey should not enter in First World War, saw the defeat of Turkey. He insisted not to sign the agreement. He decided to mobilize the Turkish soldiers for retaliation, and people supported him. In 1923, a new treaty was signed with Kemal Pasha by the Allied nations. Kemal Pasha had set up a new republic against Sultan and became the chief of nation. Reformation done by Kemal Pasha. The Sultan had control over all the political and religious powers. Kemal declared Turkey as secular nation on coming to power. He reformed conservative nature of people with their dress code. He also gave permission for women education and jobs. He followed Western judicial system. Farmers were counseled at various agricultural colleges. So, Turkey became independent in terms of food grains. He established People's Party. He appointed appropriate people in governance and administration. Thus, he was named as Ataturk, that is, the father of people of Turkey, and was the founder of modern Turkey. He died at the age of 58 in November 1938. Dictatorship in Japan. Since ancient times, dictatorship had been a dominant form of governance in Japan. In 1853, Commodore Perry of America visited Japan, and hence it came into contact with Western nations and underwent industrial development. Japan began to rise in the field of education, politics and traditions. To attain imperial expansion, Japan raised the issue of Chinese domination of Korea. By conquering China, it took control of Korea through Shimonoseki Treaty. Japan got many demands satisfied at negotiations of 1919. Japan after First World War. Japan was benefited by the peaceful Treaty of Paris. The international status of Japan got increased. America was jealous of this increasing domination. In 1921, American President Harding decided to withdraw all advantages given to Japan after First World War. Japan somehow moderated its stance during the year 1919 to 1930. Japan couldn't acquire any new region. Japan was unable to avoid the impact of Great Depression. Shinto, a military outfit in Japan, converted the national policy into aggressive. Japanese militarism and Manchuria. The economic interests of Japan were rooted in mineral-rich Manchuria. China was against this. In 1932, Japan brought Manchuria under its control. The League of Nations, big nations like England and France, did not heed to China's concerns. The leader of Kwantung military attacked Manchuria. Thus, Japanese invasion of Manchuria motivated militarism. Soldiers had a special position in the conventional society of Japan. Japanese believed that bravery of the warriors decided fate of nation. The emperor, the general, the political parties were chief power centers in Japan. The genre, however, lost its ground after the First World War, and political parties and their administration gained power. In 1930, due to unstable politics, people lost hope in parliament and strength of military grew fast. The armed forces of Japan were given a philosophical support of reformation, giving rise to an integrated and powerful source of power. The 10 years between 1931 and 1941 were the glorious days of the armed forces in Japan. The nationalist philosophy of the Japanese military, the period between the two world wars, witnessed the rise of militarism in the world. Japan too came under the impact of dictatorship. Communist dictatorship came into existence in Russia, fascism in Italy, and Nazism in Germany. The leaders in Japan also followed these governments, taking help of the Japanese customs and traditions. A new nationalist philosophy was born in Japan. The reputation of the military became successful for building new philosophy. The slogan, "Powerful military for prosperous nation," was getting popular. Kita Iki, Okawa Shumei were the chief creators of this philosophy. Their nationalist philosophy got a new social face. Reasons for military dictatorship. The Meiji Revolution. The modernization of Japanese military. Battle between China and Japan. Battle between Russia and Japan. Growing Japanese interference in Korea. The First World War and Japan. The Paris Treaty and Japan. The corrupt politics of Zaibatsu, the declining political standards, the Manchurian crisis, agreements between Russia and Germany. Second World War and World. Hitler's attack on Poland on 1st September 1939 initiated the Second World War. Russia was forced in the war due to the German attack in June 1941. America was dragged into the war due to Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. This American entry in the battlefield was a turning point in the Second World War. The nations led by Germany lost ground due to death of Hitler on 30th April 1945. Japan too surrendered due to America's bomb attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Thus, the 6-year-long war came to an end. Reasons for Second World War. The global economic crisis. The defeated and conquered nations had to face worse situations such as inflation, unemployment, and collapse in economies. The rise of military dictatorship. The people in nations like Germany, Italy, Poland were fed up with democratic government, corruptions, declining economy. People felt dictators are better than these governments. Peace treaty and regional reformation. The winning nations made change in European continent by Paris Peace Treaty. Japan and Italy was given inferior treatment. The failure of the League of Nations. The League of Nations was established to maintain peace. It couldn't curb the growing military nationalism. The weaker nations fell a victim to the aggressive nations. Extreme nationalism and pursuit of weapons. The growing intensity of fear among European nations made them to increase their military strength. There was vast accumulation of weapons. The progress of the war. The Second World War began by Hitler attacking Poland on 1st September 1939. Russia was forced into due to the German attack. America was dragged into war due to Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Effects of Second World War. The Second World War was more aggressive, more weapons were used and damage was done in large scale compared to First World War. The great loss of life and property. During the 6 years of the war, 1.5 crore soldiers were killed at the battlefield. There was huge loss of public property, including buildings, houses, agriculture, etc. The war expenditure of all the nations went up to $1,517 billion. The financial effect. The economy of all nations was damaged, resulting in price rise, shortage of food grains, widespread diseases, drought, etc. The moral degradation of man. People's attitude to life completely changed. There was violence all over the world. The use of atom bombs caused an unforeseen human destruction. The decline of imperialism. England and France tried to maintain their empires after war. Still, they were not able to solve problems of peoples in their colonies. The onset of Cold War between America and Russia. America looked after the welfare of democracies of European nations. Russia had initiated several nations into communism. America had to take stance at world level, since Russia had plans of forming group of communist nations. The formation of United Nations Organization on 24th October 1945. The world realized that international problem can be solved only by coordination, not war. To protect humanity in war, a global peace organization named United Nations Organization was. Summary. You have learnt the causes of rise of dictatorship. Dictatorship in Germany, Turkey, Italy and Japan. The cause and effects of Second World War.